Hey everyone, Andrea Rene here for Yahoo Esports. I'm with Graeme Timmins, the lead campaign designer at Gearbox on Battleborn. Now we have seen so much of this game and you guys are really close to going into closed beta, but we're here today to talk about Incursion Mode, one of your PvP modes that I got a chance to play today. So for people who have not seen it or gotten a chance to play it, can you give me a brief overview of what the gameplay is like in this mode?
So Incursion is 5-on-5 game mode where each team has to destroy the other team's sentry bots, and there's two of them, a forward and a base. But to do that, you have to escort minion bots down a lane, keep them protected because they're going to give you the edge to actually defeat the sentries.
I noticed that there was a lot of emphasis on turret building and almost kind of base building, and that's something that I haven't seen in a lot of PvP modes. How did you guys decide to really kind of make that an emphasis mechanic?
Well, we wanted to add a lot of depth to this mode in particular. It's probably our most complex multiplayer mode. So besides that main objective of taking out the sentries, we wanted to layer in other objectives other players on your team could be engaged in. Instead of it just solely being about combat, there's these other things that you could be doing. You mentioned the shards. You can collect shards throughout the map and then use them to build turrets, accelerators to help your minions move faster, slow down the enemy team. You can also purchase more minions, elite bots that help your minions push down that lane, fight through the enemy. So there's a lot of other objectives you can be engaged in besides just worrying about those big sentry bots.
I really love tower defense, so I really enjoyed collecting shards and building a lot of things, but another really cool part of this mechanic I saw was the thralls, the things that you can kind of, engage with and then win them over to your side.
Yeah, those are really important, high-level strategy. So each team has an encampment of thrall very near their base that you can go defeat that thrall, then go stand on a capture pad, which will basically align it to your team. Then they'll join the fight, go down the lane with the rest of the minions. Those are really important because they can really distract the enemy. They're really tanky. It pushes all their attention towards that, and that lets your team make a flank, make a push when they're not paying attention because they're staring at these big ones. And then center of the map, there's a larger encampment where there's two of them, and that's where a lot of fighting happens because both teams want those two extra thrall mercenaries. They're really useful to make a big play.
You guys have said that this is very much like a hybrid genre kind of game, calling it a hero shooter, almost defining a new genre. What makes it so different than other MOBAs out there? Gearbox
is great at doing first-person shooters, and we wanted to expand that though and not think about just weapons, like traditional weapons. And so we started to think about what it is to be a hero and to fulfill different fantasies, and so swords came up, or wrestling, or just whatever it may be. And so in this game we wanted to give everyone an opportunity to find out, am I better as a melee player against all these ranged characters? Can my skill overcome their abilities? And with the right set of augs and levels up, you can do that.
Today I got to play on Overgrowth, one of the maps for Incursion. How many different maps are we going to see for this specific mode and other PvP modes, and is there a really big variance between them strategically?
Sure, so every game mode has two different maps that give players different opportunities to execute different tactics. So in Overgrowth, in this map, it's a lot of flanks. There are a lot of different opportunities for players to move around besides that main path. The other map, though, is set on Tempest, and that one's a little more narrow. It's in the Tempest environment. It's all these large castles and mausoleums that really force the combat kind of into these real key points, where the map you played, Overgrowth, is a lot more free-flowing, and you can kind of move in and out of space.
Do you think that Incursion is going to be favored over the other multiplayer modes, or do you think that based on your playtest that's going to be, a little bit more well-rounded?
I think it's going to be well-rounded. We have three different game modes. We have Capture and Meltdown as well, and then Incursion, and they kind of step in terms of complexity. What's great about Capture mode, it's pretty straightforward. You have 3 capture points in a map, your team wants to hold them to get points, and that's really about confrontations between players. It's very straightforward, easy to pick up, and not very complex. Then we have Meltdown, which is kind of a middle ground where you have 2 lanes that you're escorting minions down to the enemy side. There, it's about teamwork and kind of branching your players off into 2 different locations, so it's a little more complex and there's more play with using the buildables and using your shards. Incursion is our most complex. We have all those side objectives that can keep you busy, and that one will be for high-level players or players who want to experiment with different objectives. Like I said, playing the turrets, playing those Thrall mercenaries, going after the elite bots. So there's a lot of depth in that mode, but we have great capture mode for just pick up and play. I want to get in, do some combat. So there's a lot of range for players to jump into.
Well, Graeme, thank you so much for that look at Incursion for Battleborn. We look forward to hearing more about the game, and I'll bring you guys more news right here on Yahoo Esports.